talk. So Prem and I, in the background, we try really hard to organize this, get everybody together, restart this Korean natural farming community, and it seems like it's a very high interest. We do encourage, after the talk, to meet up with people who have more experience, with people who are not experienced, so feel free to network, you know, and move around in a sense. And without further ado, I will say that we are recording this, so this information will be available afterwards. And so I'll pass it off to either Prem or Jay. Prem, do you have anything to say? All right, I'll pass it off to Jay.
Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. This is, okay, I'm hearing myself over here. There. No. There. Okay, that's better for me. I was echoing around here. Hey, aloha everyone. Aloha. So I want to welcome you to our first natural farming meeting of 2026. We met once last year to kind of get a kickoff for this, and it was kind of a summary of what we're going to do and what we're going to cover. So this is the first of a series that will be actually the whole year long, and if you show up every second Tuesday here, you will go through the complete course series of making all of the 9 core solutions. If you say to yourself, 9 solutions, but there's 12 months, why is that? One of the solutions actually has like 4 stages to break down into it. So if you take 8 plus 4, that's 23. 12.
Are you going to add a week on since we lost last month?
Gotta start off light, yeah. So, but you will get the entire series. So today, starting with what I consider one of the most vital bits of it is the food solution. So we went over them, and basically what I've been doing is translating these names. You may have heard these solutions called other things, but I'm translating them into how we use them and what they're good for. And I hope by the end of today, you'll see why this is called food and why it makes sense. And if you call it food, hopefully you'll be able to use it. Instead of wondering, what is this solution? How do I use it? Who here does not know how to use food? Food. Who doesn't know how to use food?
You're talking about Korean natural farming food or?
No, food.
Regular food.
Just
Oh,
food.
first we eat it.
Yeah, you grow it.
Grow it, eat, and then prepare it.
We've all had many years experience with food, right? So it's nothing new to us. So that's why by taking the solution and naming it to something we're already familiar with, we take that whole set of, I already know a ton about food. I have 40 years of experience with food. Okay. So I can tune foods the way I want and do these things. And if I think of it that way, just like what happens when you give something food, unless it's already dead. Right? If it's living and it gets food, most of the time it grows. But if you give it too much food, you can overdose it as well, right? So there's a fine balance to that. So that's what I want to get into. Before I get into all that, I did want to just mention that I am part of the Pure KNF Foundation. And it's the nonprofit that's helping this happen for me to get all the stuff, working with Laura, working with the Master Gardeners, working with Prem. Also, this nonprofit here, I just want to mention Pure KNF Foundation. If you're interested in becoming a member of this foundation, we have monthly meetings, we have a chat, we have all kinds of useful things, videos, all kinds of stuff. You, at your leisure, check out pureknf.org, and if you're like, wow, that's really awesome, then maybe next month when you come back, you'll be like, yeah, I want to join and be part of this. And what we do is we help each other facilitate learning natural farming. So, and big shout out to Master Cho here. This is who I learned from. So, if you don't know who he is, amazing guy. Primarily learned his stuff in livestock and as a veterinarian, but brought it all the way around. So when I'm talking today about this food for plants, it's also good for animals. It's also good for your soil. It's also good for all of these things. So I just wanted to mention that. And what I'm going to do. want to switch over to this recipe. So what I want to do is in these meetings, basically the first half of the meeting is a demonstration. So most of them I'm gonna demonstrate. I hope someone else can do this for me coming up. We can work together. But anyone who's an expert can share their experience. Anyone who's new can see what's happening. So hopefully we can get on the same page as we go through this demonstration of what I'm doing and what it's about. So if you're out there and you know and have a lot of good experience, feel free in this place where we're explaining it to share some of your things that excite you about this solution. So is there anyone so far out here who's experienced that wants to share something about food before I dive into it, this experience?
It's good. Real good.
I love it.
Who's tasted it before? All right. What was your first impression, Cher?
Of the Korean farming method?
Of the food?
Food in general.
Of this?
Tasty.
Maybe I should ask Claudia.
Yeah, that's 20 years.
Well, the first time I tasted it was at the Hawaii Farmers Union meeting when you were demonstrating, and you had all kinds of stuff lined up, and they were all delicious, and I love fermented food, so it was right up my alley.
Okay, perfect, cool. It's right up her alley.
Did you bring that last
So I brought this last time.
Okay.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send it around in a concentrate out of this syringe. And if you're non-litigious and you feel exploratory, feel free to take it and put like a little drop on your thing here, like, Summer of Love here, and give it a taste. And we'll just pass that around. It's made with lime and sugar. So if you're allergic to lime or sugar, don't eat it. So while that's going around, what I wanted to bring your attention to is just this worksheet here. This is what's in my book. This is just like a quick one-page recipe of what we're gonna cover today. Again, it's food, and it's called, fermented plant juice is the old terminology. Sometimes you'll hear it FPJ as an acronym. It's good to know those things, but it's best to just start calling it food. You don't even need to know this stuff, it's food, just use it that way, because then you'll be like, what is it, food? And it's more simple vocabulary versus I'm gonna be like, get the FPJ and the OHN and the BRV, and you're like, what did you just say? Versus get the food, cleanser, and medicine, and let's go to the garden and feed our plants, right?
Yeah.
So the vocabulary is important. So the food is the king of all medicine. Even though we have a Korean natural farming solution called medicine, the food is actually the king. Because you can make food from all kinds of different things, right? And all the different foods have different healing properties, and it's a matter of going and concentrating the right foods and eating them to meet any deficiency in you to then have balance and health, right? So that's why food, if you go and find healthy plants, ferment them and get their vital essence, and then you consume this, it can be the king of all medicines. So if we look out and we bring this in a plant context and we look out and our plants are kind of sick, maybe we're not giving them the right food. Maybe they need to, you want a varied diet, feeding your plants different things. Usually when you put compost out, plants tend to do generally well, but if you're feeding one specific type of nutrient, you'll end up getting deficiencies. So this pulls out all of food. And the other thing about this up here is that you can get rid of what they call monoculture sickness. Does anyone know what that is?
Too much of the same thing.
It's like when you keep growing the plant in the same area, it starts to get weak, and that's why they say rotate your crops kind of thing. In this case, if you have a plant and it's out there you can feed, say I'm growing corn. I make a food and a ferment like this from soybeans, and I feed this onto the corn. It thinks, oh, there's soybeans around me. The soil, as this hits the soil, it thinks, oh, there's soybeans around me. And I can continue to monocrop corn year after year because I'm feeding it soybean food. So the plant thinks, oh, look at all that nitrogen it was there. Oh, and the microbes in the soil think, oh, look at all that good nitrogen from the soybeans and all the good things they put there. And this enables you to avoid monocrop sickness. You can continue to grow the same crop in the same place because you're feeding it foods that are diverse and varied that aren't growing there. They come into the plant, they go into the soil, and that plant doesn't know it's growing in a monoculture. It thinks it's growing right next to a lime tree. There may not be a lime tree for miles around it. When I spray this on there, it thinks, oh, there's all this limes. So it thinks it can avoid monoculture sickness and these types of things.
So can you avoid crop rotation this way?
Yes. And in Korea, that's what they do. They run same things over and over and over and over. And a lot of this, that's what they're doing. So with that, does everyone have kind of an overview of what it is by, kind of getting into the, if you think of it as food, it already makes sense, right? Now, how to make it are these steps. So I'm just gonna go quickly over this, and then we'll go through with a demonstration up here of actually doing it, but I'm just gonna go briefly over it first. So step one is gather one species of plant material. So in my case, I picked comfrey. Why would I pick comfrey?
Lots of good stuff.
There's abundance?
All those reasons are why I picked comfrey. It was actually right outside my door. I'm like, shit, I gotta do this tonight. I better grab this. It is also, comfrey is a macro aggregator of all kinds of things. It pulls in all kinds of nutrients. So think of plants. When I say gather one species of plant, think of the plant that has the nutrients you want. Think of the plant that has the characteristics you want. Think of the plant that has the nutrition. Like if you did a chemical assay type thing and you said, oh, it has phosphorus and I need phosphorus, then pick a plant like that and use it, right? This enables you to pick, and the best things to use are common weeds. They're free, they're full of nutrition, and what were you gonna do with them anyway?
What about grass?
Ferment them. Grass is not the best. It's the way that grass is not the best, but you can. Leafy, big, so you want growing tips. So grab one species of plant, okay? So I got one species of plant, great, cool. The next thing down here is mix as if in a cement mixer with 1/3 to half the weight of the plant material of sugar. So has anyone made kimchi sauerkraut? We're basically doing that. And when we do that, we're getting the juice to flow out of the plant, and you'll see it when I demonstrate it. But mixing sugar draws the moisture out, draws all the nutrition in from the plant material into the liquid. The stuff that stays in the plant material is just crap that you don't need. The good vital juice comes out when you add sugar and mix it. You'll see it. Step 3, pack it 2/3 into a container. I'm gonna use this. I use this because my hand fits in there. If you got really big hands, I don't know. If you got really small hands, you're in business. But you pack it 2/3 into the container. That enables fermentation to happen. That then takes 3 to 4 days, maybe up to 7, depends on temperature. And step 5 is to collect the liquid off of there. So if you look at this picture coming down here, you will see this plant material that was in there and this liquid coming off of there. All this liquid is what came out. You'll see there's still stuff back there. That's the stuff I don't want. That has all the not so good nutrients and things. The juice has the most vital nutrients, and that's what came out. That's what I collect here from the limes. That's what I think this one, I'm pretty sure it's oregano, pretty sure. What happens is you get a bunch of things that are unlabeled. You smell them to think you can remember what it is, and it's some sort of herb, spice. Maybe it's a basil. I probably should have you guys do a test. It's a basil. Woo, that's good. You want to pass this one around? Woo, that is basil. Wow, that is like the best salad dressing you've ever Oh. That is basil. Yeah, when you go in your thing, I'm like, I gotta go to, what? All right, put it in. So I do, at my farm, I keep good food grade batches that I keep nice in the house. And I got batches that are outside, that are for the farm. There's a lot of difference between the two. So with this coming all the way through, we got to step 5. We collected this liquid and super saturated, and we've got this liquid here. Were there any questions on the basic gist of what we're getting into?
You're adding sugar again, step 5?
Yes, we are adding the sugar a last time. Again, we'll get into the whole details. Is there any questions on a broad overview before we dive into the details?
What kind of sugar do you use?
Brown sugar, and yes. So,
Where do you get that from?
my mom actually just got it from Costco.
Okay. Brown sugar, or is it the organic brown sugar? Is it
No,
organic, regular?
this is,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Is that made with molasses?
Most French.
Did you used to get it from the sugar place?
yeah. All right,
I got the other one.
so, yes.
Do you have to pack it in glass or is plastic okay?
Clay is preferred, glass is next best, plastic is there, and then worse is something that leaks, because you're gonna leak. But using the clay is the best because it's breathable. Plastic is not breathable, plus you're getting microplastics and whatever. But the ultimate answer is use what you got. Don't let it stop you, use what you got to keep moving forward. So with this, who wants to? Well, I'll do a bit of it, and then I'll let someone else do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is up here. It says gather one species of plant. It also has things underneath this, right? And it says do this at dawn, before the morning dew evaporates. Why?
More water?
Before the respiration starts?
Yeah, it's when all like the nutrients are up in your plant material, right? Like when the sun starts shining, they go down into the plant body. So I'm trying to get the vital hormones and nutrients. So if I rise up early in the morning and I gather the growing tips of my plant, those are gonna have the most hormones and enzymes and auxins and terms that I don't even know. They're gonna be chock full. If I gather it later, they're all gonna be pulled down into the plant. So I'm about to put, a decent amount of sugar into here. This costs a decent money. So gathering it at the right time to get the most nutrients in there makes sense, right? Because then that juice is gonna be even more potent. There's also in here microorganisms living in the leaves. Those are endophytic bacterias and things. That when I do this process, I'm not only gonna get the nutrients, I'm also gonna get the biology out of here. So when I gather this stuff, I didn't wash it off. I just left it as it is. There's all kinds of biology on here. I want that. I want that life to go into my garden. Those are all gonna help me. And try to get the nicest material you could. Like I said, I didn't sort through this. I just grabbed it when I left, but it's decent. So my material, I love to do banana keiki, banana flowers. They're so easy. I go one time with a knife, cut a spear, then I can bring it back, cut it up. When I'm doing this on the farm, I'm usually doing a 5-gallon bucket. I'm going to demonstrate gallon jar. I don't know, is this a gallon? It's close to a gallon jar. If you're small scale, do this. If you got more than 5 acres, do this. Okay? I demonstrate this way, but sometimes people go and they have like multi-acres and they're doing jars, and I'm like, no, you need to scale to like bucket. I do bucket size, I do cement mixer type stuff. Okay, but for a demonstration, I'm doing it small. So,
I have a question.
Yes.
Suppose you have seen slugs on your comfrey or something. Is that a problem?
Yep. So if there were slugs on this, there's also powdery mildew on this a little bit. I'm just going to throw it in because the slugs through the fermentation process, they are going to go and be fermented out of this. If I was going to use this for human grade stuff, I wouldn't know. I'd be much more discerning. I'd be like, no. Like I'm putting just the good stuff. When I'm going to do it for my plants, that slug is going in. He's gonna become nutrients that my plants are gonna enjoy because I didn't, that's karma.
You're talking about plants and growing tips, but can you also do fruit?
Yes, and that is the other thing, is I talked about plants and growing tips. There are 3 distinct phases in a plant. Vegetative, flowering, fruiting. Not every plant has that, but those 3 stages of juvenile reproduction and then actually having, carrying childbirth. Those 3 stages correspond exactly here, that growing tips are best for youthful growing plants. Flowers and unripe fruits are best when my plant is going to start flowering. Fruits are best when my plant is fruiting. If my plant is fruiting, can I use growth tips?
No.
Yes, absolutely, you can. Is it the best?
No.
The nutrients in fruits, if you look at the NPK ratios, they're all exactly as it wants in the fruiting phase. The NPK of flowers and unripe fruits are all what it wants in that transition phase. And what's in the growth tips, these hormones, these auxins, are all what something wants when it's vegetating. So the more you can match the stage of I got this, or I got unripe fruits, or I got fruits, to the stage of my plant, the more those nutrients are gonna be like perfect. It's exactly what I was looking for. That's why, again, this food is so powerful, because I can make it from limes, I can make it from basil. How's the basil? Who's hoarding it? Somebody's. You guys all drank, yeah? You got all the way over here. And what about the lime? Anyone had the lime?
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hungry.
I didn't hear anybody. Woo! You guys so disciplined. I think those grinds, huh? So, there's a ton of factors, is what I'm trying to say, a bunch of stuff into this, but the growing tips here for this example is going to show you. So, I did step 1, I gathered my plant material, and then the next thing is I made it small enough I can kind of toss it around, right? Sometimes I would say toss the salad. I don't think that's appropriate though. So the next step 2 is to mix in a cement mixer with 1/2 to 1/3 of the weight of the plant material. There's a varying range, and it's if you are into chemistry, you have to get enough moles to break the osmotic boundary with Avogadro's number, right? 10 times something to the 23rd. What? Who knows it? Avogadro? Boom! We got a mathematician. Nice. But the reason for that amount of sugar is that basically what that does is it coats the leaf surface evenly, and it gets enough osmotic pressure. So I'm going to intentionally add too little here. Every time I do these demos, I always add too little. Why? Because as I'm tossing the salad, it won't coat everything. It'll just kind of hang out. And you end up with material that just has a little bit of sugar on it. Not much is happening. So I intentionally added way too little, right? That's 1 handful. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double that amount right here. And I'm not weighing or anything. If you wanna do it with a scale, do it with a scale, by all means. What I found is better is to know the consistency and the texture of what you're getting, of what I'm looking for in my material. So I have 3 handfuls in here so far with that much material. I'm gonna stir it around. And the key is not to demonstrate anything, but since I'm here, I may as well. So I'm not trying to smash, I'm not trying to pulverize, because I don't want the stuff in the cells to break out and come through. What I want to have is the juice come through osmotically. Osmotically means it's going through the cell barrier without breaking a hole. It's magic, just like being pulled through. And so, like I said, bigger scale cement mixer. Yeah, question? Water is not what you want, because water is going to mess up the whole fermentation process. There is no water in this, because it's like asking somebody, we're making whiskey, right? versus you're gonna have somebody make like a beer. You know, like this is there's no water in the whiskey. You know, you're not adding water to it unless you're having a whiskey and water, right? Or having ice. But that's when you're consuming it. When you're making it, you're not adding water to that, right? I mean, I don't know if that's the world's best analogy, but it's close. No water. If you add water, sure, add water. It's just gonna be a superior product. We can. So now that I've been stirring it around, do you see what's happening to it? I actually probably added a slightly more sugar than I should have, but that's fine. You see how it's kind of dripping off? I probably threw half a handful too much in here. But do you notice it's starting to look like it's wilting? It's like I'm cooking it in the stove. There's no heat, there's no pressure. The heat and pressure is coming from the sugar on the micro scale. And that's what's causing this to cook. And watch it just in real time cook in my hand. And so what that is there's enough osmotic pressure from the sugar against the leaf surface cell walls that the liquid is starting to pull through. And if I just continue holding this, it'll just start dripping because of the osmotic pressure. And that's what you're doing when you're making kimchi, when you're making sauerkraut. You're mixing those salts in, you're preserving the food, you're getting the juices out. Unfortunately, we eat this part of the sauerkraut when we really should be eating the juice. That's where the nutrition is. I mean, it's good to have your belly be full too, but so this is it, where it just starts melting like this. Not every plant material will perform the same way. Comfrey is real easy, so I like to demonstrate with it. It wilts, it starts to weep, and it'll start dripping liquid here in a few minutes. Before it does that, I'm gonna take it and pack it into my jar. So that's step 3, pack it in tightly, 2/3. I cut the limes into about like 6 pieces, you know, in half and then half and half. And that's what I do. So I will use a knife. I'm not trying to dice it into pieces. I'm just trying to make as few cuts as possible to increase the surface area.
And this, you'll put limes?
No, one plant only, right? That was rule. That was step 1.
Confused with the
No, I'm talking about, because I use different materials, right?
Oh.
But in the case when I'm using lime instead of comfrey,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, when you, okay, gotcha.
yeah,
Can you use oranges?
anything.
And you need one.
That's the beauty of this, is anything. One of the best things to do is after, if you have a bunch of bananas, you peel them to dehydrate them. You got a bunch of bananas left over, peels left over. Ferment that. It makes an amazing juice. All those peels, the value in the compost pile versus the value of extracting the potent juice out and then spraying it, I don't know, but I'm willing to gamble it's like hundreds of times more powerful this way. I don't know, hundreds. I don't have that much money, but
Can you use the
I know.
purple bananas, banana flowers?
anything. Those are the best.
Lots of.
Because the flowers, then I spray it in the flowering season, or when my plant is flowering, right? That corresponds.
What?
No, at the end of it.
So once it starts putting out the baby bananas, you cut the flower off
Yep,
and then you stop.
yep. And that's a great thing, because otherwise, what were you gonna do with it, right? But if you cut off, there's lots of vital energy. That's the reproductive organ, which is always like full of energy, right? Yeah,
The keikis, can you use the keiki and the flower the same?
yeah.
And the banana peels all the same?
When you use, if the more you match it to like fruits to when you're fruiting, flowering to when it's flowering, and veg to when it's vegging, the better you're gonna be. But anytime, anything, right? I can eat whipped cream all day, right? It's probably not the best for me. So if I had the right food at the right time, it'd be better. But I'm gonna eat, you know.
And you always feed the food with the medicine and the other 8 things, right?
That is important to note that they're usually all done together. We don't usually spray one in isolation. We combine them, but we make them in isolation, and that's what we're showing here today. So, and if you do go to use this juice right here, I put this in 1 to 500 into water. So it's about 40 milliliters for a 5-gallon bucket. I pour that in, and then that you can water out. So that's how to use it. So you take the concentrate and you dilute it. It's 1 to 500.
You put it on the plant or in the soil?
That's the beauty of it. If you can put it, you can mist it right onto the leaves on the underside and onto the leaves, and it absorbs it in about 15 minutes. You can also put it onto the roots. You do about 25 gallons an acre to spray, 100 gallons an acre to drench. So you, just because it takes more energy to get the drenching and everything. But when you're drenching, not only are you feeding your plant, you're also feeding the soil. You're also having everything reach out. You're also feeding the whole micro community in there. So there's a lot of good reasons. So it didn't quite juice up the way I thought it would because I grabbed it in the evening. But it will. By the time we're out of here, it'll probably have some juice. Yeah, anyway, hopefully.
If you're using the seawater, like we talked about last time around your trees, can you do both, the seawater and that?
Yes, absolutely. That's the thing, is to combine these things. So now what I need to do is just to finish this material into here to pack this thing up 2/3. When it's 2/3, then I leave it, put a nice breathable lid, put it out of the sun in a cool place. And 3 to 5 days, pull this out and just keep the liquid in and keep the solids in and let the liquid out. And that is your potent juice here. And for today, if you're gonna do this for today, just keep it in the fridge. I'll do a super saturation thing next time on like what that is, because it does say to add more sugar, but this bit, you can either that or just Google it. I got a bunch of videos on this thing, because you gotta see the super saturation to really know when you hit it. It's an interesting thing. Or you just add a shitload of sugar, it doesn't matter.
Can you pass the syringe around for those that didn't get it?
Where
It
did-
started here and went that way.
Where did it go?
It's on the
Syringe
table
right there.
She put it
Oh, by the computer.
I think she
Oh,
put it right there.
over here, okay, sorry, I'm looking. Okay.
So you ferment at room temperature,
And
then
then
you
we
put
went all
it
the
in
way
the
around.
We can put more in there. Okay, so let's,
You ferment at room temperature, then when it's done, you put it in the fridge and store it in the fridge?
yes, ferment at room temperature. And if you store it in the fridge, you're good to go. You don't have fridge storage space, next meeting I'll go over that super saturation, or just look it up, super saturate, and search it, and you'll find it. So any questions on this? Yes.
If you do get mold, can you just scrape it off, or is that been back?
When you are finished, like after 3 to 5 days, there can start to be very white wispy molds growing on the top. That's the point you want to pour it off. After that, then those very first molds that appear are what do you call, like benign or you know. So that's an indication that your ferment underneath in your juice is done. If you see like white wispy stuff starting to grow, you know it's done. Pour it off right then. Because I say this long range of like, you know, 3 to 7 days, right? How do you know? If you see white wispy stuff, you know, okay, if it's fermented on top, it's fermented on bottom. And so pour that liquid off and you're good. And the whole reason for the fermentation step, after I go here and the liquid comes out, the fermentation step is to make that, digest that liquid. If I just took this sugary liquid out of here without fermentation and sprayed it on my plant, the plant would be like, I can't digest that. It doesn't, you know, but this, it's digested in here. It goes through the microbe's stomach. So when you spray it on your plant, it's absorbed. It doesn't have to digest. So that's the whole reason for that fermentation step. Why not just get the juice and spray the juice? You need the fermentation to make it bioavailable and plant available.
What do you mean by the slight ring developing in the bottom of sugar? What does that mean?
Super saturate. If you look at these that are super saturated, you'll see this very slight ring of sugar under here. Try. You see this very slight ring at the very bottom. See how there's sugar under there? You see it right there at the very bottom, sugar, extra sugar.
I mean, so the liquid can't get.
Yeah, it means it can't hold that sugar in the liquid anymore. It's too heavy, it falls out of solution.
Saturated with sugar.
So every water molecule is tied up with sugar molecules. Yeah. If you shake it around, it'll get stirred up, but it's chilling.
It can't absorb anymore.
Exactly.
So it's done.
No. So it's preserved.
Okay.
This is good.
So do you keep that sugar? Do you use it?
By the time you get down to the bottom, you'll find that you'll use it with whatever you got. It'll come out. So any questions on this going all the way through?
Can you use sugarcane juice instead?
No, the sugar is dry. And it's that dryness that brings the osmosis out. The sugarcane juice is too wet. Even though it has sugar, that it doesn't pull because it has too much water. It's already. So that's the same thing about you can't use honey, and you can't use molasses. You have to use brown sugar, and you can mix in a little bit of salt, a little bit. And those are what does osmosis. The others won't.
I've been wondering about tobacco and growing tobacco because I can do the task. Well, there's an amendment that makes tobacco, but I wonder if you use tobacco to make an FPJ because it has the nicotine, and I know if you spray nicotine around, you kill your plants. So if you want to kill some weeds, you use some nicotine.
Yes, exercise extreme caution if you're going to use a plant with known toxins in it, like nicotine. Definitely wear rubber gloves and do it, and be careful. And do not just willy-nilly be spraying this all over any plants. Test it on a small plant in a small area if you're going to spray something that's very potent. Like if you're making it out of herbs like nicotine or tobacco or like rosemary I've made it out of, oregano's, even that basil's a little bit strong. It's not too bad. But when you get these very aromatic things, if you smell it and it's like, whoa, the plant doesn't have a chance to get away from it. So if you don't want to overdose. And that's the thing, a little bit of food is better than too much food. Think of us too, when we eat, like if you had a little less, it's probably better than eating way too much, right?
So if you want to kill plants, like if you had some noxious plants you wanted to kill, I've never heard of it in natural farming, but could you make carefully making tobacco and spray it on there? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah. When you make millions of dollars, then do that, because the cost to make your own ferment to spray it, you're never your money, you could have just smashed the thing with your foot and moved on, I don't think it'll ever economically work out for you.
So what was the period of time once you ferment, then you put it in the fridge, and then how long do you keep it for?
So these then, once I have them in good storage, like this, where there's enough volume in here, this will store for years. If you get it from a plant tip, real nice shoots, and you got real nice stuff, that doesn't last as long because all those hormones and auxins and those very sensitive compounds start to break down. But the fruit and the flower and those things, they're still good as food later. It just doesn't have the pizzazz of the fresh, you picked, fresh guava shoots or something, and it has all that extra. If I let it go for a year, then it's just as if I was using guava fruit or whatever, it lost the bit of it. But this will store for years. If you're storing with less than 10% in your jar, it'll store like a month or two. It really does not like having a tiny bit in a big jar or big container. So if you have a bunch and you only have a little bit left, put it into a smaller jar or use it. But don't get down to where you're leaving this much and try to leave this for several years. It'll rot to the max. If there's a bunch of it, it does okay. Tiny bits, it rots.
And you can use it after step 4.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yes.
Right away.
Yes. Oh yeah. Right there, you could use it. Step 4. Step 5 just makes it so you can keep it around. Right.
And the measurements was what, 1 to 500?
To use, yes.
Yeah.
And all the measurements. I have the measurements on a chart. That chart. So. Yeah. So anyway, anyone have anything to share with this recipe? Any good things they've made it out of? I know there's some experienced folks. Yeah.
Yeah, I started out with 2 solutions that I bought from a man named Daniel. What's his name? There you go. I've never used these things before, but I've used a lot of biologicals in my 79 years. So I grow seed. The seed's real important to me. It's real important to me. Because if I can't jump it and get it going in 4 days, then I am wasting my time. Mainly the reason is that I got fungal problems. knew who that beast is that wants my seed. You ain't gonna get it. Listen, so after 4 days, I'm done with it. So for a long time now, I've been suffering with a lot of poor germination problems. And you can see the fungus growing on the seed, so I was really hopeful that these solutions would really help me out. Lo and behold, this here cleaner, the one that I've kind of grown in love with most, because it's, I really don't know what it's made of.
Sure.
But
Is
a
there sugar in
dilution
it?
of
No.
2 teaspoons in a gallon of water, and I'm off and going. That's a lot of solution to protect the plant or a seed with. So I'm real happy with this. I'm very excited about it. I'm learning something every time I come, so keep up the good work.
No, cleaner is what we're gonna get into next time. So what cleaner is it's just a vinegar. But what it is a living vinegar, and it may be one of my favorite solutions. I don't know. Vinegar is just so. But the reason I wanted to start with the food is because the byproduct of the food, you saw that bucket over there with the leftover stuff. What am I going to do with that? So oftentimes I feed it to my animals. Sometimes I'll compost it. But the third option is I can add water and actually turn that into a vinegar and a cleanser. So a little bit of preview for next time. This recipe we're working on here today goes straight into the next one. So if you've made this one, you can make the next one. You're just gonna add water. Spoiler alert, everyone's like, oh, maybe I won't show up next.
Can you take old wine and let it turn into vinegar and use that?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
I kind of remember that because I took the
You
cork
don't
off of
drink
my
your
wine
wine?
last time.
Yeah, or you gotta call up, you gotta call her up and be like, bro, I got some on the edge. She's like, I'm on it.
I'm there.
Okay, so he's doing this and it's looking great. I think if I was to look, if you come up here, what do you think? Is he good with sugar? Does he need more? What do you think? Come on.
A little more? I don't know. It's not wet enough. It doesn't look wet enough.
Well, it's coated though.
Keep working, man.
Yeah,
Keep working.
throw
Smash
some more
it.
in there.
It's
Can I work
coated,
it
but
more?
there's still, yeah, so you'll see, so if you think this is coated, he's saying this is coated, but I just wanna see, so I think you need more, yeah.
Why don't you chop it up more?
Because I wanna keep it about that for what we're doing, and I'm gonna just,
Gabriel said, massage the calories.
now I'm gonna put in about yay much more to what you're doing, and you'll see about, one more of that same size, and we're gonna, and mix that in.
So quite a bit.
Yeah, it's half the weight.
Yeah.
Or half to 1/3, right? So if you think of it,
Yeah, I know.
This is preserved and super saturated. We did step 5 on this one, so this one does not need to be refrigerated. You don't do step 5, you should keep it in the fridge. It'll only last about a week or 2. It'll actually go pretty quick. What do you think?
Better. So,
So in this case here,
almost everywhere.
if in doubt, I would just throw a little bit more and give it one more. Just because we've already put that much into effort, and now
If you're gonna super saturate, you're gonna use more anyway, right?
yeah, and it's gonna and the sugar is nutrients for the plants. Right. Everything.
A lot of it falls to the bottom of the tank.
No. He's doing a good work, working it out. Because sometimes, you'll get things at the bottom. No, he's doing a great job. Look at that. This. Yeah. Now you see the texture starting to change. You feel a difference. Yeah. And I think it was that little bit of extra sugar that brought it over the line. Do you feel that difference?
So you don't want us to use a vitamin?
No.
And don't do it like
Went
sour.
from happy leaves to
For
wilted
everything.
leaves.
You're just getting wrapped and there's no need. You just need it to like, because you're gonna, it's different than the sauerkraut. You know, it's a similar concept, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. It depends on the plant.
Did you see the difference of where he's at now? What happened? Because you guys are up here and we're starting this. You see the difference? Yeah. And it was the amount of sugar and you know,
So it's reactive.
but he's not really mixing or grinding it in. He's just stirring it until it's like, now it's ready. Yeah. So this is ready. So let's put back that into here.
See, I want to be too rough with it. I'm too rough with it.
You make nice potatoes now?
Yep.
Pretty good size. Good thing I brought the big one.
I was gonna bring this here.
Push it in.
So that's the perfect
Oh,
one.
yeah. You want to get the hair? You want to get the hair?
Does this have those little orange cheese balls in it? Those have been put to good use, let me tell you.
Come closer. Wait, hang on one second.
Once it leaves the liquid, do you have to keep the vegetables submerged?
No. There's no brining here. No.
Next.
And the liquid. Sink over
There
there.
you go, liquid.
Diabetes in the parking lot.
You don't have to over it.
Yeah, like sauerkraut. Like, you smashing the water out of the cabbage and.
We'd have to wait 5 days before this off.
That's a good one.
We'll go over it next time.
I thought you were pointing to something and you had like
No.
product like.
Not yet. Next time.
Okay. You want us to bring anything like some stuff for next time?
No. Next time, if I have that. Any questions here right now on this? One thing I did not do is I didn't bring enough material to get it 2/3. It should be up that much higher. I was actually expecting to have a half-gallon jar, and then I got this bigger one, and then I was like, okay. But there is liquid starting to emerge at the bottom, and it's starting to juice out. Had we gathered this at like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, early, it would be just juice right now. This thing would be just like under the water. And someone asked if you have to keep it below the brine. No. Whatever leaks out down here is fine. And when you pour it off, you will get mold up top. That's fine. But you don't have to keep it below the brine, and do not add water to this. Do not add water. When you're done and you have this and you're ready to dilute it, then you add water. Do not add water in this stage at all until it's poured off into this. Okay? Yeah.
How much salt would you add if you added any salt?
About 10%. You would get a stronger osmotic pressure. Your mileage may vary. It's really dangerous stuff to do. But yeah, because you mess up your fermentation when you add salt, but it's fine because more pulls out, but then less fermentation. Anyway, so what I wanted to do is to challenge you guys. If you feel that you understood this well enough, and you make one of these and you bring it back next meeting, I can then check your work to see, did you make it correctly? And help you with what went right, what didn't go right, and help you become so that you get the support you need to do this. So I challenge you next time, for everybody, to make it food grade and nice, and then let's, if you feel so bold, let's maybe sample a little bit.
I brought some strawberry up.
Oh, and he has some strawberry. That is a reward in itself, right there.
We just had the tips, broken. They put out runners, and we wanted them to fruit, so we cut off all the runners early in the morning and made food. And but I'm hoping to taste everybody else's next week, and I'll bring some fun stuff too.
If you want, I mean, have the syringe.
No, it's here to share.
Yeah, why don't you grab it and pass it around? So yeah, you can. Yeah, it comes out really good. I do wear gloves because when you're mixing it, it can get in your hands are all afterwards.
Taro leaves.
Yeah. The haw tube, the corn, what do you call it?
stamp.
Yeah. The hop. I mean, fuck. Yes. Yes.
I recommend using the stems and not the leaves of the forms. You get juice from the stems, and the leaves are really hard to get juice.
Okay. So what I want to do is like basically, you know, thank you guys for coming out for this, going through. If you again, if you want the Pure KNF Foundation, pureknf.org, we run that through support and we chat and all kinds of things to help people. Our mission is to help. To join the foundation is $60 a year. And
just I'm gonna make steel, there's this QR code, if anybody didn't sign up, would really appreciate what we really want is your email address, so we're gonna send you a reminder and we can send you some recipes, but we're not gonna use it or anything. Greg would really like it if you would put this QR code and just put your email address and sign up.
Every class or one?
No. Well, one thing, every class it helps me count because I may have
Okay.
to say how many people came here. But
Okay.
the other thing is that if you scan that, basically what I'm going to do is send 3 emails. One after this as a follow up of like, you know, maybe some the video stuff and what happened, and then one as like it's coming up, and then one right before. And during those emails, what's nice, the reason I want to like have email and stuff is like, for instance, with the food and these things that I'm trying to do, if I can email you to say, okay, like remember to bring this or that, and those things where we can kind of coordinate that way. And that's what, you know, I'm trying to do with this is just like, you know, we get good momentum coming, keep it going through this year and invite more people. We can actually open this wall and make this room bigger. You know, you can have just like massive food. So with that, what I wanted to do is to transition into eating and basically we'll make a big circle and bless our food before we do that. And the only thing I ask is when we're eating, just sit with someone you don't know and talk story. Find out, because too often we sit in our own comfort zone. We talk to the people we know. Talk to someone you have no idea about, and sit next to them and try and see what comes out of this. With that, let's make a nice circle.
Stop.